this video I'll be using the following products. Links are in the description. Milliput has kindly provided these products for me to use in this video. It is a company based in the UK and produces this amazing epoxy putty that can be used for virtually anything. It's easy to use and easy to sculpt. It is waterproof and sets rock solid. It also comes in many different colors. If you want to learn more about this product, be sure to visit their website. I always make sure I paint my figures with ARTEZA's premium acrylic paints. Honestly guys, the quality of this paint is really good, so I suggest you check the links in the description to find out more and order some for yourself. I'll be using masking tape, PVA glue, sculpting tools, paintbrushes, lots of super glue, tons of time and lots of patience, and a glass of water. Now we're all set, we can start this project. Hello everyone, this is Marco and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to work on this Allosaurus from Mattel. Now I managed to snag this up from Smith's Toys because I really like this Allosaurus, particularly the head sculpt, because it's based on the Battle at Big Rock Allosaurus, which is absolutely awesome in my opinion. I think we can all agree that the tails on these Allosaurus figures are a bit too short and the legs kind of look a bit weird, so I decided to modify mine and replace the tail and the legs with those ones of the superposable Indoraptor. Yes, the Indoraptor's got a much longer tail, which would look amazing on that Allosaurus. Luckily, I have a spare Indoraptor that I can use, and I can possibly retool some other parts once it's done too. Maybe for another video. We'll see. So the first thing I'm doing is disassembling the figures. Obviously these don't have screws, so it's a bit harder to do as they're not designed to come apart. So I used a blade to cut through the seams and pried the figures open. So before we glue the Indoraptor tail in, I want to take apart the Allosaurus so I can unscrew the legs. This will help me work on the legs individually without the rest of the body getting in the way. I didn't want to completely separate the two halves of the figure because the plastic kind of warps when you prise it open, and by doing so and completely taking both parts apart, there would be a considerable chance of warping the plastic and the two halves not fitting together very well. So it was very tricky to actually fit the screwdriver and unscrew the legs, but I did it in the end. Another thing about this Allosaurus is that it has Spinosaurus sound effects, and I really don't like that, so I'm pretty much removing the sound box, and I'll be filling in those horrendous holes at the bottom. So I have removed the legs of the Indoraptor, and from now on I will be combining the thighs of the Allosaurus with the rest of the legs of the Indoraptor. The Indoraptor's got a sickle claw, which the Allosaurus didn't have. So I have cut off the sickle claw and I will be resculpting the digit, making it look like a third digit that the Allosaurus would have had. So for a lot of this project, I've actually been using a lot of blades, and it's pretty dangerous. So if you want to do this project, make sure that you are well trained or at least have a lot of experience with working with blades, or just ask your parent or an adult or anybody that is old enough to help you. Okay, so now the legs are complete. I am going to screw them back in, which is a bit of a faffy procedure, but I did it in the end. And before I forget, I did actually replace the sticker. I didn't record it, but I did remember to do it, so don't worry. The Allosaurus is still officially an Allosaurus and does not have an Indoraptor sticker on its foot. So because I have removed the sandbox, I'm temporarily filling in the holes with some tissue and a heck of a lot of super glue. Then I'll be filling in and retexturing the holes properly with Milliput. Next, I am gluing the Indoraptor tail in the Allosaurus's butt, but we're not done yet because it looks a bit weird without a pubic bone or pubic area, which, because of the tail being so slim before, it pretty much didn't have a butt. So we're going to be sculpting that in with Milliput. We will be filling in and texturing the noise holes and sculpting the missing toes. I don't really need any reference pictures for the feet because I can use the rest of the toes as reference, mirroring the image in my head. I'm using a toothpick to sculpt the material, and I'm using a paintbrush with some water to smooth it all out. Milliput can be smoothed with water, and it won't affect the curing at all. There isn't much to do texture-wise on the feet. except for the scoots. I sculpt the scoots in just by scoring some lines in with the toothpick and then smoothing it out with the paintbrush and water. I decided to include in the video just the part of me sculpting one foot, so sculpting one toe instead of both of them from each side, as it's exactly the same procedure but mirrored. I decided to add a bit more Milliput onto the rest of the claws just to make them look a bit more rounded and less jagged, because I did cut them with a blade earlier. There isn't much else to say here, so I'll meet you later on in the video where I'm sculpting the rest of the figure. Welcome back. I am filling in the holes with Milliput, and I won't texture it until later on when I've added all the Milliput that I need to add on the bum part of the figure. The way I usually texture my figures or any sculpt is by sculpting the detail in scale by scale or line by line or individually with a sculpting tool or a toothpick. But in this case, I will be doing something different. You'll see what I mean. So with the pubic area or the bum, I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm just adding more material and then smoothing it all out until it's ready to texture. So this is how I texture this figure. I have an old texture pad that I made some time ago. I mixed some silicone putty with cornstarch and just plain old RTV acetic silicone, the silicone cork, the one that smells of vinegar, and pressed it on a Mattel figure. I think it was the epic roaring T-Rex. So it would pick up all the skin detail that figure has sculpted in. So then I could later use that same texture on a different figure, which is what I did here, and I think it blends in pretty well. Talking about blending in, I'm continuing the texture from the Indoraptor tail onto the Milliput so it all blends in properly. Then I go over it with water and the paintbrush just to soften the detail up a bit. I also added some missing ridges on the tail, you know, the ones on the back that continue all the way down. I just need to add these bigger ones, and luckily the Indoraptor has some scoots on the tail that kind of resemble the ridges of the Allosaurus. And then it's ready to paint. Well, kind of. I need to wait for it to cure completely. For now, I really like how it's coming along. I do think the legs and the back part of the Allosaurus still is a bit skinny, but honestly, I'm not too fussed about that, and it's much better than before. 4 hours later, here I am painting the figure. I'm not going to comment through the whole thing, so I pretty much just matched the color of the paint using ARTEZA paints by mixing different colors together. And first I made the base green, then the belly color, and then I continued the patterns on the back all the way down the tail. I decided to add some red on the crests of the Allosaurus too. And that's pretty much it. I'll meet you when the figure is done. Here we go. This is it, finished. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I think it looks much better with a longer tail. I still think it looks a bit too skinny, but it kind of works for an Allosaurus because it was an agile predator, and it was longer than it was, taller and thicker. So I think it works fine. It definitely feels like a big carnivore now and not a regular medium-sized one like the rest of the Mattel figures in that line. I think Mattel should make the Allosaurus part of the bigger dinosaur range. But anyway, still loving what Mattel's doing with the license, and everyone, keep up the great work. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye!
I would like to give a massive thank you to all of my Patreons. Seriously guys, your support really does mean the world to me, as it helps me do what I love for you. You help me buy materials, and most of all, you give me a helping hand with improving the quality of the content of my videos. Even if it's just a small donation, every little helps. If you like my videos, please press the like button. And you could consider subscribing. It's free. Oh, and don't forget to press the notification bell button, because you don't want to miss any of my new stuff, right? I'm gonna say bye now, because when you gotta go, you gotta go. I will see you in the next one.